Welcome to LUTV News InFocus, where we feature interesting topics on campus, in the community, and in the world of culture. I am Alexis Miller. Andre Ramos-Woodard is a contemporary artist who is teaching Design 1 at Lamar University. Through his passions of photography and illustration, he was able to have his artwork showcased at the Houston Museum of Fine Arts. He picked up his pencil at an early age and attended the University of New Mexico. He is here to tell us how he began his art journey and his creative experiences. Andre, could you tell me a little bit about your art journey?
Absolutely. I started making art when I was really young, kind of on accident. I just would draw random things around that I found around the house. And the first thing I drew, I think, was like in the first grade. I drew something from an Animal Planet book, and my mom and grandma really loved it, and for no reason, like it was not good. But because they loved it, I found some inspiration to continue making things. So I continued to draw at a young age. I drew anime characters because I love anime. And then in high school, I got into photography, and I hated it. I really hated it. But I hated the technical aspects of it, as many artists do. They just want to make art. They don't want to drill with all the things that you have to learn to make good things. But towards the end of my first semester of photography, I just started looking at pictures and fell in love with it. And then after that, I came to Lamar for art and photography specifically.
So you do photography and you draw.
I do. Sorry.
How does photography and art come together, and how do experiences in one help you in the other?
Yeah. So photography is an art form to me, right? Like that's where my fine art career started. I was just thinking about how I could turn my camera on myself or the world around me to depict my own thoughts and the things I wanted to say. And it wasn't until I was at the University of New Mexico where I started to incorporate drawing into my fine art practice. They're really inescapable for me. Photography does things that drawing cannot do. Photography depicts the world in a very specific way, and drawing does something similar, right? Like drawing, I can depict characters, or I can make marks in ways that photographs cannot. And by combining those elements allows me to really amplify what I want to say. I can pull from both mediums, and I don't know, I just make whatever I want. I could just say whatever I want to say, and whenever I really pull the expertise out of those things.
So you've done really good at doing these things, and you've had your artwork showcased in the Houston Museum of Fine Arts. Talk to me a little bit about that. What art piece do you have there?
Yeah, so I have a mural at the Museum of Fine Arts Houston right now, thankfully. Bless them. But the mural I have is from a project called Black Snafu that I started in graduate school. And Black Snafu was all about blackness. In this series, I'm taking pictures of black people, including myself, or spaces that are inherently black, and I'm juxtaposing them with depictions of black people found throughout American cartooning. And I got the opportunity when I met the assistant curator, and she really liked the body of work. And she reached out to me a few months later, and they have this big new area that's all about photography, and the current show is about interventions. So it's about people who are making marks or intervening in the photograph. And as someone who draws on top of photographs, she thought of me for the mural. And so I have the opportunity to create this giant mural there. It's like 16 feet by 14 feet. Oh, wow. And in this mural, it's a basketball goal. It's literally Rogers Park, because that's where I grew up, and that's where I used to hang out frequently. But also, there's basketball goals there, and constantly I see little black boys or little black kids from Marshall Middle School or various parts of Beaumont playing basketball there. So it stuck with me. And in this picture, I took a picture of the goal. I took a picture of the basketball goal, and I have Gerald from Hey Arnold dunking over this minstrel character. As one, Gerald is awesome. He's the hero in this feat, but also he's defeating this minstrel character that has been perpetuating black negativity for 100 years. So yeah, that's what the piece is.
So with you having that experience and that opportunity to have your artwork in that museum, how do you think that inspires your students in art design or Design 1?
Good question. I just would hope that my students can see something in me, in that. They do not have to set their sights low. They can make whatever they want to make. And as long as they continue making what they want to make, whatever their passion is, like my passion is making work about Black identity or about identity in general. I stuck with that, and eventually someone picked it up. I want my students to know that they can make whatever they want to make anytime. And as long as they're happy with what they want to make, keep pushing themselves. And people will inherently like it. If you like your work, someone else is going to like your work too. Just keep having confidence in yourself.
So what is the next plan? What are you planning to create next?
Ooh, girl, I don't know. No, I kind of know. I'm still working on Black Snafu. It's not a finished project. It was my thesis project in graduate school, but the thesis project is really only the beginning of an entire body of work. So I'm going to keep working on that project, and I have a couple other projects that I want to work on as well. So honestly, just keep making art. Hopefully, someone will pay me to do it, but we're gonna see.
So have you had your artwork showcased in any other museum, or have you been, I know you do events, do you draw for other people?
I don't draw for other people, but I have had my work shown in other places, thankfully. I actually have a show right now in Denver, Colorado, which was super sick. I got to drive up there, deliver the work, had a show opening, and I even sold some pieces. I've had my work in the Houston Center for Photography earlier, or in midsummer last year. And I've also had my work in various shows in states, like one in New York. I think I have a show not a show, but I have a piece right now that's going to be in a show in Maryland. So I'm trying to get my work out there, you know what I'm saying? I've been grinding, and I think it's working. I think it's showing.
It's definitely working for you, Andre.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us, Andre.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching LUTV News in Focus. To see more content from LUTV News, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.